Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. I wasn't planning on making a video today. I actually did one last night talking about that and my plans for it. But Big B had an interesting question today in his video, and I thought I would give my answer for my part. Basically, what do you like about the hobby and why do you do it? Oh, God. Well, I started off flying RC airplanes in 1972, and it was all gliders. I never really flew any gas-powered airplanes. My dad did. My dad built model airplanes. I can tell you some stories about that someday. Anyway, started flying gliders in 72. That's where I met Steve New, was flying out at Torrey Pines. His mom would drive him out to Torrey Pines so he could fly his gliders. He was but a youngster then. Anyway, I went on to dabble with RC and got involved with the silent electric flyers of San Diego. And in fact, it was Steve that introduced me to electric airplanes, and I saw the potential in them and got involved with them. And then along came brushless motors, and that changed everything. And about the time lipos entered the scene, I was fading out of the airplane world. I had moved up to Washington for a year and lived on a lake. And this would have been 1994. And since I had a lake right out my back door, I mean, you go out the back door, walk 50 feet, and there's the lake. So I built some model boats and had a good time with them. I built a bunch of Grotner kits. In fact, my very first boat was part of the Great Purge and is now living in the Pacific Northwest and being driven by somebody who will actually drive it and not leave it languish in a box. So what do I like about model boatings? I'll tell you exactly what I like about it. It's a challenge. If you fly airplanes, there are ARFs available from Otto Lilienthal's, little glider, through the Wright brothers, through World War I, through World War II, through, Korea, Vietnam. And you can get the Wright Flyer, you can get an SR-71, pre-built, ready to fly. Where's the challenge in that? When I built airplanes, we built them out of sticks and covered them with monocoat. And that was an airplane. Now they're ubiquitous. You can get them anywhere. Well, not so much with boats. Boats are very few and far between. I mean, I'm jonesing for somebody to build a hull that looks like this or a hull that looks like that, because there's just none out there. If you do RC cars, there's every car in the world. You've got your Formula One, you've got your drag racers, you've got your stadium racers, you've got your street cars, you name it. Boats, there's really only one manufacturer here in the U.S. That's Proboat Horizon Hobby. There's a handful of offshore firms making them, but there's not much out there. In fact, all but one of my fleet, and that's that green custom boat or green Cobra boat, they're all custom built from either, sticks or a bare hull. That's what I like about it. It's the challenge. It's how am I going to get this to fit in there and work on that? So, Big B, that's why I do this, the challenge. Why do I post videos? The same reason you do, to share some more obscure ideas, the salsa and guacamole of ideas, if you wish. I mean, Big B's got all the basics down pat. I deal with how in the hell am I going to make this weird thing work in this weird corner where nobody's ever done this before. And that's kind of more what you get on this channel. Plus, this channel, you get the worst video on YouTube. I can honestly say you get the worst videos on YouTube until, well, actually, I'm going to edit in last night's video where I talk about this. So stay tuned. Jet out. Good evening, boys and girls, and welcome once again to the southern wing of the Stinkbug Works. The other day, I was bitching and moaning about what to do with all the motors I had. And all along, I've had this up in the closet, and really, to be honest with you, what I was doing is waiting to see if I could find a unicorn. What I was looking for was a Grotner GTX 480 version 2. That's what this hull was designed to fit with. It'd been the perfect motor for it. But after waiting about a year to find one, you won't find one. The people who have one don't want to sell it. So I'm just going to go conventional power system on this. And I was thinking this might be the perfect hull for this. I'll run this on 3S, and I wanted to find an inline. I'm going to have to use a cable drive. I want to use a small cable because of drag, so I'll use that 2.2 millimeter cable that's from China. And I was thinking about using this strut with the inline rudder. Now, I've cut this rudder down, but I can get a longer rudder. That's not an issue. But I'm not sure if I just like the look of this or not. However, it does give me a good base to put like a dummy motor on. You know, maybe 3D printed or cut from a block of balsa, you know, just something. So I may make a balsa motor just to be cool. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. The philosophy behind this is cheap. Try to use what I have on hand. I'll use this, the replacement for the green boat that never really got replaced because it got fixed. So that would be a perfect speed control, and I like that it comes out on one side. Although I plan on putting this about here and sticking the speed control up there. So I've got plenty of lead. I could bust that up. So that's not really a problem. Okay. Self-righting. I like self-righting. And in fact, the flood chamber wall is right along here. So this entire sponson and this half of the wing will fill up with water. That's the one thing, you know, with the scale motors, you got all this weight up high. Still, they corner pretty good, but I'm going to try to get the weight down really low in this thing. I'll have the motor low. I might even go so far as to have the motor almost flat and do an S-bend to this, just to keep the weight as low as I possibly could in the hull, because that raises the motor, 3/8 of an inch, the center of gravity of the motor right there. It raises it 3/8 of an inch if I angle the dangle. So we'll see, because small, lightweight cable, long runs. Besides, putting a bend in it stops the cable whip. I think I'll run a liner, and with that little tiny cable, that'll be a good thing. So there you go, boys and girls. I think that's my next project. What do you guys think? Until next time, jet out. Welcome back, boys and girls. I want to share with you the birth of another hare-brained Dr. Jet idea. Now, I'm thinking about running this strut and rudder on this little boat, but I was just concerned about the appearance. I really wanted to put one of those extremely rare Gropner 480 outboards on it. Well, the odds of finding one of those are somewhere between slim and none. But I got to thinking on how I would build this, and you notice there's like a slot here. I'm thinking I would make a plywood, okay, imagine this if you would. I would make a plywood outline of, one of those modern badass looking, outboards. You're picking up what I'm saying? And I'd make this out of plywood, so that a little tab would fit into this slot, and I could put it up like that, and then, adjust the size and such, and have kind of a cool looking dummy motor. And as I thought, I said, that dummy motor's just gonna sit there, and something will be missing. Now, let's regress for a minute. You notice the hole sizes are different on either side of this arm. Some of those quick links you can get have this 3mm size quick link. And what I've been doing is, when I wanted to use a pull-pull arrangement, I would just ream this one out to 3mm. But I have another idea. What if I use this one with a standard quick link going into, regular, and your steering would act as normal. But instead of this being a plywood thing, and the plywood up here have a shaft that goes down into here, continue the plywood, so that a shaft would go into this area, and you could make a plywood piece that would hold this shaft, and so that this dummy would be sitting on a shaft, and you could drive that from this side with another, smaller link, maybe a clevis going off to this motor. And then so as the rudder turned, this whole dummy motor would turn. What do you guys think of that, huh? Until next time, jet out.